Hey friend, welcome back to Christian Podcasting Secrets. I'm your host, Tammy Munson, and I am so glad that you are here. Whether you're tuning in while getting a few chores done, or just taking a moment to yourself, I see you, and I'm cheering you on. So today's episode, it's one of those heart-to-heart chats, y'all. We're talking about content planning, but not the color-coded, gotta post everywhere kind of thing. Nope. I am going to break it down in a way that is simple, spirit-led, and actually sustainable and consistent. So if you've ever felt stuck or wondered how to plan content without burning out or feeling overwhelmed, this episode is for you. So without further ado, let's jump right in. So let's start with a planning framework that actually works, that won't leave you stressed out every week. Step 1, we need to anchor our message. This is your why. So I want you to ask yourself, what is God calling me to talk about in this season? I don't want you to overthink it. This will shift over time because your message should shape everything else. Is it encouragement for women that are walking through hard things? Bible literacy? Maybe it's sharing testimonies or creative inspiration. Let that big picture message, that why, lead the way. Because when you're clear on your message, you stop chasing content for the sake of content. You start creating with purpose. And that, my friend, is where the freedom is. Step 2, I want you to define 3 to 5 core themes about your podcast. Now, we are going to think of these as our go-to lanes or boundaries for our show. They give the show focus. They help listeners know what to expect. And honestly, they keep you from spiraling into content chaos. So I'll use my show as an example. So mine are podcast strategy, faith and calling, finding systems that work, and creative encouragement. Now, your themes will be drastically different based on what your niche is. But when you have these set or you revisit them, brainstorming episodes get a whole lot easier. Step 3, create a monthly rhythm. So we're bringing this all together with a simple rhythm or plan. Now, I'm not talking about a rigid calendar or a rigid system. I'm talking about a structure that supports you. So it could be something like this. Week 1 is a strategy tip. Week 2 is maybe a faith or life story. Week 3 could be a guest interview. And week 4 could be a solo Q&A, an experimental type of episode, or just repurposing. Now, this type of flow gives your audience consistency and gives you breathing room. It helps eliminate decision fatigue and makes your process so much easier. Now, let's get real honest here for a second. What about those times where the ideas just aren't flowing? You sit down to plan out your content and everything feels dry or foggy or forced. I get it. It happens to all of us. So in those moments where I hit that, or I see that my clients are hitting that, there's a couple of things that we can do. Number 1, we're going to go back to our why. Yep. Why did you start your show in the first place? Who did God put on your heart to serve? Go back to the original calling. Because sometimes that alone is enough to reignite your creativity. That's why I stress this so much during the podcast launch phase. Because your big ideas and your passion that you start with will fade over time. But it's that why that will carry us through. Number 2, pray about it. Now, this isn't a throwaway answer. It's real. And it's something that I do all the time. Because when I'm stuck, I'll literally stop and pray, God, what do your daughters need to hear this week? And more often than not, something clicks. Sometimes it's a word or a phrase or a Bible verse, or even just peace to wait and to listen. I also look around me in my life, maybe things that are happening with my clients. Because if you're walking through something, chances are your listener is too. And you don't have to be on the other side of the story to speak into it. Share what you're learning in real time. And those are some of the most powerful episodes. And finally, repurpose with purpose. Look back at past episodes that resonate. Could you maybe add a different spin on it? Or maybe update your thoughts on there. Maybe you've changed your mind on that particular stance. Don't be afraid to breathe life into what God has already used to bless your people. Because this isn't about performance. It's about showing up faithfully with what you do have. Okay, let's talk tools and resources. Because y'all know I love a good system, but only if it truly serves your audience and your calling. So here are some of the ones that I use. One is a Google Sheet content calendar. It's nothing fancy. It's just a simple tracker of episodes and themes and dates. Super easy to share with a team or just keep it personal with you. I also have a running list of different ideas in my notes app as well as through our team project management system on ClickUp. And so I can capture random ideas, whether I'm in line at Target, whether I'm walking the dog, or wherever inspiration strikes, I can capture it. Also look at AI tools like ChatGPT and the numerous AI agents that are out there and AI bots that are out there. And I mostly use it for brainstorming structure or questions that I want to answer. Things that maybe my clients have asked me and I go, oh, you know what? That would be a really great episode. And then finally, prayer and white space. Because honestly, no app or online resource or tool beats getting quiet before the Lord. So I find for me, when I'm really overwhelmed, I know I have to step away from it and I have to breathe. And that silence is sacred. But I want you to choose what helps you plan with peace and not pressure. Because we don't need any more pressure in our lives. We have enough, right? Now let's zoom out for a second. Planning is great. It brings consistency, it brings structure, and organization does matter. But if your current workflow, your current rhythm is leaving you anxious or burned out or disconnected from your purpose, it's time to reset, my friend. Because your audience doesn't need you to be perfect. They need your presence. So like I talked about last week, that could be building in weeks or off seasons. It's letting go of the shoulds. I should post 7 days a week on Instagram and all the social media platforms. No, you shouldn't. And if you are, stop. But it also means showing up from a place of overflow, not obligation. Because I want you to hear this clearly, my friend. You do not have to do more to be impactful. You do not have to be everywhere to be obedient. Because one obedient, spirit-filled episode for your audience can carry more weight than 5 rushed ones ever will. It's just that simple. So I want you to give yourself permission to breathe. Let the Holy Spirit lead the process. Enjoy the peace that comes with it. Because like I said, we don't need any more pressure in our lives. So I hope that I gave you a new perspective on content planning today. Because it doesn't have to be exhausting or overwhelming. You can plan with clarity and create peace in your life and trust that God will use every word. And since this is Easter week, I wanted to let you know about something fun that I'm doing on Friday. Yes, a Friday episode is coming this week. I am joined by my sweet friend, Michelle Faring of Open Our Bibles Together for a special Easter episode. We're talking about why Easter is more than just a date on the calendar, how it shapes our faith. Of course, we talk a little bit about the chosen. And yes, we even answer some fun Easter questions. And you'll get to learn my personal stance on peeps, yes or no. It's a fun, reflective episode, and I can't wait for you to hear it. But if this episode did encourage you, can you take a second to share with a friend, or let me know what you liked about this episode, or maybe what you didn't like about this episode, or maybe a question that you have that I can answer for you. But until next time, but friend, I want you to remember this. Keep showing up. Keep speaking boldly, and remember that your voice matters more than you know. I'll talk to you guys on Friday. Have a great one. Bye, y'all.